4 years. Adipangira magesi, ogwana 2,300 and chaguti megawatt. Akuna. Independently nayo. Patebo yan. Inetu meno manukula isi manukula. When you are talking, I did not speak. So if you are going to ask me where I have gotten the figure from, then ask that when I have finished it, because I'm going to pick it and tell you, this is your figure here. Now, anybody would say there is some type of madness here in the figure that we are coming up with. Because you are trying to, the trillion that you were talking about in money is going to come from some megawatt that you'll be selling, some power that you'll be selling. How much was it? That, I think, tells us that it's impossible for you to jump from where you are now to get to what you are trying to propose. Sometimes I think presenting something that is painful, you make people want to leave the room. I've seen Mr. Liabunye checking his time. You will not leave until I finish. The other one is system losses. System losses, for the purposes of being granted a tariff increase, is intending to play around with the minds of consumers. They're simply playing around with our minds. And that's why they have run away from giving us what they did in the previous 4 years. The new and realistic KPIs they failed to achieve in the past base tariff. ESCOM needs to provide realistic and achievable strategies in the application. In the previous base tariff, ESCOM promised system losses of 17.4%, and they ended up accumulating 22.2%. And in the current application, they have just cut and pasted the same figures. If you look at it, it's the same figures. They're not even ashamed. I'll give the reasons why maybe they do that. Because if that cannot pass through a good regulatory authority like this one, Mr. Kajaji, you will not allow that type of madness to happen in your reign at MERA. You don't leave a bad mark like them. You need to meet heaven, God in heaven with a good spirit. And you're a man of God, I know. Now, I'm on customer care. Customer care, I've talked about already corruption, so I will not repeat it. And I think the issue about corruption in ESCOM, we know where it is coming from. To pursue what you said about coming up with the zoning. The zoning issue, and if I remember, there was a guy in ESCOM who I used to deal with. I don't know if he's here. Brown guy? Oh, here. Oh, sorry. You are, Wiseman. Wiseman, yes, Wiseman and the gentleman behind. We had a meeting here in this hotel, isn't it? Where we developed the idea of the zoning. The idea of the zoning came from me. Don't even jump around. The idea of zoning coming closer to us as consumers came from me today. He's saying, we have decided as ESCOM to come. No. We discussed in this hotel about that KPI, that it will get us closer to the people that come to do maintenance in our places. We have to call ESCOM head office, and you'll be told, but there is no truck. And we see a car at a bottle store. 2 cars of ESCOM at a bottle store, near my house, and they're drinking. Meanwhile, they're saying, no, we can't find a truck. We can't find a car. Then we agreed we are going to put the offices near us. Let's say in Kameza, there will be a zone office where people will not go anywhere. The person even in that office was supposed to be friendly with the people and know his consumers around him. That was done before you joined ESCOM. You can ask Bwana Kumbuyo, Bwana Kabwazi. Tina banga muno yoyambirwa ndine. And in fact, I need now to make sure that I think I patent this. Because you are copying it too much to a point that it's looking more beautiful the way you explained it than me. So that, I think, must be understood that the idea of having the zones was to help us get closer to ESCOM and allow ESCOM to be also efficient in reaching us. And that, I think, will be a challenge to do. The issue was about money. I spoke to the chairperson of ESCOM, Mr. Tembo, and he agreed on the same principle as well. And until today, do you know that for you in Mulanji, if you do complain and you are looking for a small little wire, Somebody in Mulanje has got to drive all the way to head office and get it. From Mulanje, somebody will drive to get a small little nut and go back to Mulanje and fix. That's how they have done. That's why the operations in ESCOM required that good reform to make sure that you are able to be closer to your consumers. Now, the issue about customer care is the one I'm talking about. If there is one institution where people are trained to be rude, it's ESCOM. The training that they acquire, you begin to say, where did they go to? Which country? They seem to have been in one, I don't know. If you are on the phone with the call center, look at the language. Otherwise, the person will drop the phone down. Tati pasa reference number yako inali reference number ndinalibe umakuti pakali pamene naika pa sindikuiona koma ina nakuti makhala pakuti pakuti mita yanga number yako ndio ulibe reference letter mutiimbire mkaipezanso. Ukamala nkhula kuti kapena ufuna unene kuti ineyo kunoko kumene ndikuimbira kunoko ndi kwakuti zina lako ndiwe ndani wati ndati amene anaimbawo kupanga report complaint imene ndi akazanga ndi auza akazako. What type of language is this? The language that you train people with has been terrible. And I spoke to Kabwazi at one time. I said, you know, Kabwazi, let us just do something free to help your people. Why are they so angry? People in ESCOM are angry. I'm telling you, they are bitter. Ndichani. Ndichani. Kuti muziti pangira mwano ife ndisi maka akala kuti munthu yosamazi wabko kachizungu. Anthu amene alovutikira po kwambiri. Ndi amene akuzunzika kuti agwirizane ndi ESCOM. Mukwazunza anthu. Osapeza njira yabwino bwanji tanena kuti mutapita muimbe TNM or Airtel pakati panopo. For call center, immediately, hold on, madam, we want to help. Hold on, sir. Nice. Umayamba so ganza kudanga akawangaza kuti nimuze bawo. You know, ulemu mena kukupasa. Now, we need people that can look at me as a person, as a human being, and be able to assist me. Kuti ineza mwescom, sindimaziziwa. Koma ndikudalira inuyo kuti mundithandize mwina mundifotokozere zimene ndingapanga. Zimene zonzo zimene tikuganiza kuti call center yanu, customer service yanu ingapanga improve. Mwano umene uli mene wina uja simunga uthe. Fa anthu anawulowera. Anawumwera mazi. Ndiyeno we can do slowly by making sure that you have invested so much money, and I don't see that in the KPI. This is the key KPI. Communication is key. If these people cannot communicate better, go down. What number BP? Now, I would want to come up with our recommendations. I think it's in this here because I can see Chawezi is on me. But I would want to say that Kama wishes to propose a tariff increase of 46%. Looking at what we have gone through here, and if it is genuine, 46% is quite huge. Already, Kumazi tabizakare 50%. Even 50%, and how we know the cost of living. Tukumada ndawula ndichina chiri chose. Mkango kweza magesi chimene chitike kwa ife ndizopya kwambi. Katundu yasakwera mitengo. Mena alipa anthu ena amene amva uthenga umene umola kuika. Ngomba kuti 67 akweza kale katundu 67%. Mulatiganizira. Amfumu. Honorable Muso. Takati nenena nini amene mune mmankhula ko ndi a president. Akafera panjira uzena so kuchemba. Komanso tinamba punthawi naso kuti ino advisor a president. Tatikomera ko ntima mutauza president kuti fantu pakale patu ofinyika. Siti kuti tikukana kulipira zinthu ziyayi. Koma tikuti atamviranso mmene fe tikuzunzikira. Fasi kuti ndi magesoka amene timagwisa nyumba amene akwere ayi. Koma ndikatundu yensenso amene amatibagula akwera mitengo. Taziti invesa ni pang'ono nthawi imene mukubwereza zimenezi ndiyo lakuikako pang'ono. Ndiye mukamabwesa ma increase wazikhala konso una kuti ifenso muti pangokhala ngati anthu. Chimene ndikupempha ndi chimene chocho. Mukamatiganizira ifeyo, I'm telling you. Mutamangisa anthu mawaya, ena aba mawaya, ena aba chani. Ndiye tonsefe tikhala gulu limodzi. Nimpeza ndainyamula transformer. Tipeze malonda. Tugusa number transformer. But we can eliminate that where we see that electricity is part of my life. I'm also able to have electricity. and that I benefit from electricity. How do we tell people in a community that electricity is good for you when they do not even have access to electricity? What would they find of use, the equipment that ESCOM has? Would they find it important? No. Therefore, we need to make sure that we have also a deliberate policy in our KPIs. The deliberate policy, sir, is the one that would also help us to reach the 8% of consumers out there. It's not about just making money. I do understand you. It's like somebody who has got tourism. When you are a touristic country, umagula ndege. Koma si udupanga ndrama zako kuchokera mu ndege mu ai. Koma ndege yozibweresa nani? Anthu. Bwene akabweresa anthu ajabweresa ndrama zakunja komanso azapanga business ziko munja. You are winning through the plane. Tikani ma model amene wo. Oti thandiza kunena kuti sikuti kukweza magesi koka nimene kuti koma kuti mkapanga kungo kuti mtengo uli bwino. Mpeza kuti ama factory ambira pira kuti tendipire kumayambise makampani. Wakabwera kumalai kuno akulemba anthu ntchito. Ndekuti ziku la malawi likutuka akupanga so export. The mix would assist. It's a circle. So let's not just look at electricity as one single product in a vacuum. ESCOM also, you're operating within a bigger section. The businesses are struggling right now to save. Some are closing their companies in Malawi because the cost of doing business is just too high. And one of the components that is making business to be a bit more complicated in Malawi are these issues of water, electricity. And I would want us to consider that when we are dealing this is to you, sir, the chief of MERA, that we need to consider this. And as I said earlier on, I'm also praying to the chief and the Honorable Msoa and Chancellor Kafera Panjira to have a discussion in your committee in Parliament to talk about this particular issue. And Antoine asana series and ifeo. I woman and the committee of Parliament news. Mwauzi. Kuda malai pakale paropande aumhawi ndo vutika. Ine ndunena pano pa osekhala kuti kapena munthu otani ayi. Inenso ndine munthu amene mufuna kuti I'm failing to get electricity in nyumba every day ndikungozungulira kutama matimisa mpesa kuna ine nchitanga khala itimisa ma switch. Now that's not, we want to have electricity and enjoy it. See what I'm saying, sir? The next process, we're saying that. The next level that we are talking about, when we had the 2018-2022 tariff base, we never met. This time, we know, we want to be meeting every year, to be reviewing. For izoti, mudigre 4 years, nikuna tukunda mizi dapano. Tukupasani mwezi. Koma tu ukala ndi chaka ndi John City ndipange review. If it does not appear in the law, then you must have it in your guidelines. Every year we must be able to meet again with ESCOM. You know the reason why we are talking to you, ESCOM, is to help you improve on your sector. Muntu uzani za zina zowawa akuthandizani. Ofinya chironda. Madana naye. Koma wakuthandizani kuchosa zinthu zoipa mtupi mwanu. Ifeyo chimene tikupanga pano pano ngokuthandizani nikuti mutayamba kugwirapo ntchito yotumikira ifeyo motinso ifeyo tionenso inuyo mugwira ntchito mu environment yabwino. If we are happy with the tariffs and what have you, we will not complain. But look at Malawi where it is. Malawi is one of the poorest countries. Where do we have the highest tariff? I mean, Malawi ndi losauka ndi ife osauka. Sikuti kamena ndipo a president atu ndi chair anthu osauka. Umboni tongukuza ndikuna kuti alifeni fundi osauka. The president is our leader. That if you have missed this tariff, if you have not been able to achieve this tariff, then you will be paying you will be able to pay a fine. And the fine must start with the CEO. Makwenda, Kajui. Because these are the people that are running the company. If they are unable to meet that, don't pat them on the shoulders. Become like an independent regulator. Koma, you always look like ESCOM B. Kuzoganiza and vuro lambiri mukafuna kulemba ando amanyekera kwako kwesko ali yes amulemba nchito so ndaona mmendu banga ndido zina zungozisiya. So we are simply saying that let us find a fertile ground where you also as a regulator, you are able on our behalf to make sure that these people are paying a penalty for the mistakes that they do. Don't pass on their mistakes to us. Tatopa. Now, you need your credibility to be back. MERA. Your credibility is at stake. Many makalira ino ndesco, mwatipanga chaka ziwiri zapita kumbuyo kuzi. Inu anthu amauka ikirani. Olo ineso anthu amanika ikirani. Kapiti waja. Ngono ndikafera panjira, mujese, ndikafera panjira. Akandona ndiri ndino a chair. Chimodzimodzi. Kapita mujesatu. Lero ndiye ndifuna ndifotokoze amalawi amene mukutimvera kunjo ine sinajesedwa ta. Sinaje. Ndipo ine sanga ndidyese awawa chifukwa awanso ali mavuto kale awo. Akana ndijese mwina azimbuyawo kumbuyoko. Koma chimene ife timanena tikakumana nawo ndi chakuti tamvera ni chisoni mtundu wa Malawi. Ndikafika apa ndinena kuti ziko lino ndi labwino koma likomere wina aliyense. Nthawi ino ndiyovuta pakali pano pa aliyense akumva ululu wa chuma. Ululu woti tipeze zinthu zathu zotiyendereza siku ndi siku. Tipemphe ino aku Eskom makaguzera inu kwa MERA kuti mkamayang'ana iyi tariff imeneyi tatiganizirani. Muone kuti kodi kumasulira kwake ndi chani. Media mkakalemba mawa please musalembe kunena kuti Eskom afuna kuti akweze magesi ndi 69%. Sizoona. Tiye ndiafotokozera anthu zabwino. Muigawe 69% iyo ndikuona mafiga zanu mmene ayipangira phase down. Mmene ife beti kunena kuti ndi ayikulu. Ifeyo akama ndi ma consumers amene tafunsa amene atilembera so makalata ane ambiri amachula 30%. Ambiri ma consumers amene alemba makalata kwa ifeyo amenena kuti between 25 and 30%. 35 and 20%. 25 and 30%. Koma ifeyo poyang'ana zimene zili mu document manu. Komanso kuti tikufunanso kuti magesi tizikhala nawo nthawi zonse. Tikuona kuti ndi bwino mutalandira 46%. Akambawa. Mukapanga chibwana apa ndikumagwirizana ndi izizi. That's 9% izi. Ndikuziwa kuti awapanga ndalama. Akukwanisa zonse zichi. Koma ndingopempha chauta kunena kuti inunso Mulungu atakuposa kuni nzeru, wisdom. Yona kuti mkamayang'ana kwambiri muyang'ane munthu wakumuzi. Kuti amene yikodi magesi atazamfikira azatakulipira biro imene tikuganizira apa. Muzinganizira amene uja. Amene ujayo magesi izikanga chogwisira ntchito. Mukuziwa kuti magesi atakhala kuti alipo. Anthu achonganso kubwera mumuzi tawuno. Masaluni anthu akhazikisa kumuzi. Kumuzi kwa anthu ayamba welding kumuzi. Ntchito zambiro pangiro create nthawi imene yoyo. So ubwino wa magesi sango uona kumbali yona kuti awapange ndalama. Ubwino kodi kuziko lonseri tipanga chani. Akulu tukutendera tuluka. Ndalankhula zina ndasiya. Koma ndikuganiza kuti chabuta amene amati mvesera tonsefe wamva kulira kwa ifeyo. Ndipo yemweyo chabuta amene amamva kulira kwa anthu. Apa sanzeru zabwino kwa akachachi ndi anzawo akakakumana. Kuti Mulungu akukuyang'anani mwamva? China chilichonse chimene mungapange. Nzeru zanu zithandize kuti wina aliyense achoke pa umphawi umene tili nawo. Komanso Eskom apitilire kuti pasa magesi. Zikomo kwambiri amaindi abambo. Thank you so much for listening to this long discussion. Thank you so much.
Once again, another round of applause for Mr. Capito. At least you were warned beforehand. Danena tukudosa maapura dala Capito. Ntawe ya wese da kwani. Kuma alankhula zinu zomve tonse tamva. Komaso amene akuonera komaso kumvetsera makoma mwawo amva zimene tukambirana kuno. Komaso kuti kodi nini kodi yakula ndiyo tichani. He's talked about a lot of things. I just want to agree with him on a very important aspect of his presentation. Attraction of meaningful foreign direct investment to the country. I had a chat to one gentleman by the name Shiraz Yusuf. I don't know if he still is. He was or is a managing partner for Ernst & Young. All of us know this organization called Ernst & Young. It's a consultancy. They do issues of taxation, issues of advisory, and other issues. So he said, investors are rational human beings. They go to regions, sectors, and countries where they will maximize their profits. And he said, this is not rocket science. It is every businessman's philosophy. So when Mr. Capito touched on the issue of attraction of foreign direct investment, in relation to a reliable power sector or energy sector, it quickly brought me to an issue to do with a certain report which was done in Malawi. It sits at the Ministry of Finance. It is called Domestic Resource Mobilization Report. Dr. Thomas Chadala Mutari knows about this. We have had a discussion on that. I've had a discussion with Professor Chereni of Malawi University of Business and Applied Sciences. We've also had this discussion with a consortium which is being funded by European Union to do with public finance management. This is a consortium comprising ECAMA, Oxfam, as well as Luana. So this discussion was in relation to attraction of foreign direct investment to Malawi. And another report also comes into perspective, which sits at Malawi Revenue Authority. I had an opportunity to be part of that discussion in Gaborone, Botswana, where MERA sent its deputy commissioner to attend. So it was to do with issues of tax incentives. If there's also one sector which uses a lot of tax incentives, is the sector of energy in attracting foreign direct investment. So this report was about the effectiveness of tax incentives as a measure to attracting meaningful foreign direct investment to countries within the SADC region. The outcome was very shocking. When big multinational companies were consulted, they said, all we want are not tax incentives. Why? We understand the importance of taxation to a host country. What we want is, one, a business opportunity in a particular country. Two, we are looking for aids to trade. These are now issues of the services, good telecommunications industry, banking industry, which is up and running, insurance industries. These are issues that support their aids to trade, plus a reliable infrastructure environment where you've got a good road network, you have got a functional aviation system, and all other aids to trade that will support our enterprises. The last factor that they talked about was the issue to do with a favorable macroeconomic environment, which comprises, one, better economic governance, as well as good industry practices. But key amongst the many was the issue of the energy sector. You cannot attract foreign direct investment if your energy sector is wanting. So this is the reason I felt I should support Mr. Kapito's thinking to say, investors do not need tax incentives. This is empirical. You can go and see, because when we organize our supply side in terms of the constraints that we have, this is now going to be the bedrock for the attraction of foreign investment into the country. I felt I patted you on the back for that particular point, Mr. Kapito. Thank you very much. All right, right now let me call to the front Mr. Sosten Chigalu, who is the president for Renewable Energy Industry Association of Malawi, so that they can also give us their response to the presentations that have been made. Mr. Chigalu. Give you 10 minutes.
No. I was just asking him to guide us on the time, because we plan to finish by 12:20. It's just about 12:15. So sometimes it appears as if those who speak last are the ones who have consumed the time. Anyway, I'm here to speak on behalf of the Renewable Energy Industries Association of Malawi. Our offices are based in European business centers in Lilongwe, but we operate across the country. Next slide. Yeah, so in terms of the outline of